Today, I'd like to talk to you about one of the most underused, yet incredibly powerful marketing tools there is out there. Want to know what it is? It's case studies. Now, let me tell you about what case studies are. First off, you need to understand that case studies are not testimonials. They're not somebody coming on and saying, hey, I really enjoyed working with Don. He was great because of this, this, this. That's not what it is. Case studies, in fact, are not about you at all. Case studies are, sorry, I couldn't get the card out. Case studies are about your customer. How your customer took a problem that they had and solved it with your help. So they're really about your customer. And the more information you give them about how your customers solve this problem, the better they tend to be. In other words, the less you talk about you in a case study, the more effective they are. So they're about your customer and they're about your future customer. Why do I say that? Because, as I said, the best case studies show how your customer got to the result that they were desiring, what they did to do that. What that does is that gives your future customer information about the path that they are going to go down if they work with you, and also gives them some information that will help them if they decide to do it themselves. And oftentimes what will happen is if they decide to do it themselves, they're going to go 3 steps down and they're going to say, this isn't working. I need to bring you on board to help them. Can you see the power of these? They're not marketing pieces. They're stories. And stories are incredibly powerful. They show your future customer the dream, the transformation that you help people achieve in living color. You're helping them not only see that it is possible, but they can see that someone else did it. And oftentimes they can see that that someone else is an awful lot like them. And so therefore, they see that dream solidified and they want to work with you as a result. And the other piece of power is they show how your customer got there with your help. So as I said, it's not primarily about you, it's about that customer with those. So let me show you step by step the exact format you use to create a case study. So I'm going to give you a case study here in case studies. Actually, I'm not, because I'm not going to tell you a story about it. I'm just going to show you exactly how to do it. All right. So number one, they start with a compelling headline. Ideally, a results-based compelling headline. How XYZ company doubled their 2021 sales using just one webinar. Or even better, how XYZ company added $1 million in sales with a webinar. Okay, can you see how this one that is $1 million is more powerful than this one and doubled their sales? Okay, so if their sales are $20,000, they doubled it. They got a $20,000 webinar. This one says, hey, you got $1 million webinar. Much more powerful. Okay, so you start with that compelling headline that has a result in it. Number two, you add a 1 to 2 sentence TLDR summary. What's TLDR stands for? Too long, didn't read. And so what it is you're summarizing what they did and how they got there in 1 to 2 sentences right at the top. Oftentimes you put a picture, their logo by it, something like that. Number 3 is that you then have an introduction of the client, who they were, the size of company, they're located in Peoria, Illinois, whatever it is, just enough so that they can see, hey, this is a company that's much like us. Number 4, you give them a description. This is where it gets important. You give a description of the situation, the problem that they were facing, or the goal that they had. Your ideal situation you're doing here is you're trying to have a situation where the customer, your future customer, says, hey, this is a problem that I have too. So the more you can make that problem common rather than specific, the more effective your customer, this particular article will be. Now, Step 5, what they did and the solution. This is where the real power of this comes in. Basically, what you're doing here is you're describing the steps that they took to achieve that solution. The more detail you put in here, the better. And included in that, it references your product or your service in that and how you contributed to those results. The more you describe the how, the better. Or let's say this, another way of looking at this, the more you describe what they did, the better. You're trying to describe all those things so that your potential customer can see, oh, this is what they did to achieve that success. You want them to have that information because then they start saying, I can do that too. That doesn't sound hard. Number 6, another power piece in here, the results. The more detail you can put into these results, the better. Give them numbers, give them time, give them multiple different numbers. Okay, their sales went up this way. They attracted 16 customers. One of those customers brought another $1 million in business to them. Those kinds of things. Those results are the kind of thing that someone goes, whoa, you can get that by doing that. You can get, and what happens is without your ever saying that, they are then saying, you can get that result by working with you. And all of a sudden it becomes very interesting to them. So numbers, data, proof, anything you can put in there that gives them that. Number 7, the benefits. What these results meant to that company. Okay, so it allowed us to keep all of our employees during this time of struggle. It enabled us to double our production staff. It enabled us to run advertising in whole new markets. It enabled us to expand into this new geographic area. It enabled, in other words, show the benefits, how important it was. And by the way, realize that one of the most important things is if you're reporting from the format of the boss, it enabled me to take 2 weeks off and go on the first vacation that I've had in 3 years. All those are powerful, powerful motivations. Realize what you're doing here is you're creating a marketing story for your product without ever talking about your product other than a small mention. But people get, and they make that connection. Hey, this isn't talking about this product, but this product is what created that for them. And then you end with an inspirational closing quote from that client. This is great. Now, and then number 9, you give a call to action. Hey, if you'd like to talk to us about how we can do this for you, here's how you do so. All right. So that's your basic structure, the 9 steps to create a really good one. Now, they're even better if you do this in the form of a video interview. Now, even better is to do a video interview and use that video interview, transcribe it, and that's what becomes the article in this case study. And then you include the video so they're seeing that you didn't make this up. They're seeing the client actually talk to you about it, and they're seeing their emotions and their feelings as they describe those benefits and the advantages that came out of the entire equation. My recommendation is that you start collecting a library of these case studies right now. You want to create the library so that you've got them so you can use them in future launches. You can use them as content. In fact, these case studies actually have value because you show them what they did, how they did it. Some people actually sell access to their case studies. Think about that. There are ways to do this. And the reason why is because they tell others how they solved the problem. That's worth money to people. In the process, they're interested in paying you to help them. Now, I'm not suggesting you should go create case studies to sell. My recommendation to you is to create case studies to show what you do, how you do it, and so that people will want to buy from you. That's my recommendation. So what's one of the most underused tools? Case studies. Why are they so powerful? Because people read it and they say, this is a story about their customer, not them. Oh, I want that same result in my business too. They're much more powerful than testimonials, and they don't even sound like testimonials. They're a story about your customer. Ever done a case study? What's your thoughts now that you've done them? Let me know in the comments. This is Don Crowther saying, just go do this stuff.